Guys. Hi, I'm so sorry that running a little. Hi guys. Take a moment to bridge. Hi Karen, hi everybody, hi girls. So go up and down and go up and down and go up and down. And when you are, the very first part of this is abdominals. So I'm going to be cueing that and just do the best you can to hear what makes sense. One trick is to put your hands between your pubic bone and your navel, and then as soon as you start, let's say the first 3 inches of your bridge, you actually feel your abdominals pulling the pubic bone towards your navel. And likewise, as you go down, the last 3 inches or so, you actually feel your abdominals pull your pubic bone towards your navel on the up and on the down. I'm going to say it another way. If you think about the low back, the side of your body that's hitting the floor, you would like to feel each part of your low back, let's say every inch, touching the floor. And you can do that when your abdominals, where your hands are above your pubic bone below your navel, are contracting at the beginning of that bridge. So just think about touching your low back to the floor before you peel it up, and then touching your low back to the floor before your tailbone gets there. And if it doesn't totally make sense, just think about whatever part does. The abs are helping. You feel each inch of your spine. Now go up and hold where you feel like it's a level bridge. Your low back might have a little bit of neutral curve inward, but it doesn't have an excessive tension. Now hold there for 10 more, just kind of noticing your hamstrings and your glutes. 9, your knot in your neck. In fact, you might even relax your lips from each other. Breathe in. Now focus on the feet. Are all 4 corners of the feet on the floor? And mound of the big toe, pinky mound, inner heel and outer heel. Now lower your spine and think about that low back getting an inch at a time. Let your fingertips come behind your head and lift up your legs. Now it's as if you're on a table with your shins and then you add a rotation. So we're going to pull the belly in each time. You rotate your torso, you rotate, you exhale, you pull the belly in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now both hands go to the feet. It's like you're doing a squat, but on your back. This is an easier place to get as you're working on squat where your feet are on the floor. So take advantage of this, and then let your feet go on the floor again, and think about all 4 corners of your feet like you're a tire. Now curl up at first and notice your hips are in the same position, even when you lift up your right leg. Now we're going to add a leg pull with the right leg. Try to keep your hips in the same place. Try to keep the distance from your rib to your pelvis on each side in the same place. Now relax your neck. Now relax your jaw. And then on that 10th one or so, that foot that's in the air is going to go to the floor. Your left leg can come up. Now you're going to pull and lower. Nice. Nice. And really think about your feet. So each toe is pulling back. And then you point and then you pull back. We're going to keep our ankles and feet healthy so we have good balance and so we have good low backs. Now on that 10th one or so, that foot comes down. Both hips are in the air. Take an inhale. Lower your spine. Hold on to your legs and then breathe in. Now let the left leg down and lift up the right leg. Now draw circles with your breathing. 2, 3, 4. Now bigger is going to be harder to keep your ribs down. And go the other way. Is that okay, Miss Karen? Hold on to that, okay, that leg or thigh, hold on and leave it up in the air. Now, you're gonna point and then you're gonna flex and separate the toes. You're gonna point and then you're gonna pull back and separate your toes, even if you have to use your hand to do it. Point and then pull your toes and separate them. Inhale. Now ankle roll about 5 times each way. Now scan your neck. Is it something, yep, that was good. I saw an inch of relaxation happen in the neck right there. So you're doing each circle. Now the other leg comes up and you're going to put your hands beside your hips, draw a circle on the sky. Try to keep your ribs down. Try to keep your low back either what I'm calling neutral, which means there is a little inward curve, but it doesn't get any bigger than your natural. We're going to take about 10 each way. And you know, a fun trick too could be you're pulling your toes back on that second set of 10. If your hamstrings are really tight though, that one may not feel as good because you feel like your ribs get pulled, but you're trying to keep your abs engaged so your ribs don't get pulled off the mat. After about the 10th one of that way, let your hands assist you in a hamstring stretch. Now point, and then when you flex, spread your toes. Point, and when you flex, spread your toes, like you're trying to get them as wide apart as you can. Point, spread your toes. Point. Now draw a circle about 5 each way with your ankle, not your thigh, and let your neck soften 5 each way. I naturally do the other ankle too. It's okay if you do that too. It's just wonderful. It's just that you're really giving your attention on that top one. Now put both legs up in the air and hamstring, double hamstring stretch, hold 10, pull your toes back, feel that length down your leg. Yep. Yeah. Now fingertips come behind your head and it's going to be like a little cradle. You're going to softly point as you rotate and lower one leg. Now come back to scissor, rotate and lower one leg, and scissor and rotate, and scissor and rotate, and exhale. Now what we'll do to add on is pull your toes back, 10, one more each. Now we're going to take a right ankle to left thigh hip opener. Reach your hands through the leg and let me see you touch. I call it touch the hip. So you know we'll probably do another of these hip openers towards the end, but let's just see if we can chip off some of the tension. And Michelle, you said you were working those really long shifts. I bet that the hips will love this first stretch. Yeah, me too. Like when you're doing something, I used to run a cash register, and when I did those really long shifts standing, I just needed all of this. So, all right, let's do the other one, ankle to thigh. So reach through and then just, it's like you're knocking off the edge of the initial tightness. You know that we'll come back to it, but we're just sort of moving the back. You know, when you rock, you're moving your ankles, you're knocking off some of the hip tension, and then it'll actually move better in the exercises. And let your exhale breathe out any tension in your jaw. Nice, Miss Karen. All right, you're gonna let the feet down, and this time lift up, lift up your hips with that little abdominal curl. Now lift up your right leg and point the toes towards the sky. Drop the hips and do this little trick. Really try to articulate. You only have one leg doing it. Try to articulate through the lower back. It means for me, I have to go slower to be more thoughtful, to ask my abdominals to help. Now we're going to do 10 on the other side, pointing the top leg. Now ask your abdominals to help you so the low back gets each inch down and up. Now switch the legs, and then the leg that's in the air is going to be toes pulled back. So think about all the toes. Now use your abs. Use your abs. In other words, articulate. Also, the foot that's on the floor, all four corners are touching. There is a lot to think about in each of the exercises, and you know I'll keep cueing. I'm a repeater. It helps me to learn things. So just do the cue you can. Usually the conscious mind can only do one cue at a time. Now try the other one. Lift up the other leg, pull its toes back. Here we go. Articulate through the lumbar and then press up. Articulate, press. Articulate. Neck is soft, jaw is soft. All right, now hug those little hands to your inner feet or so, and let the knees be wide. You're in a bound angle. Now, double leg stretch is a little abdominal, it's big abdominal. So you could hug your knees and then stretch out your arms and legs, and then hug your knees-ish, your shins, and then stretch. Now I'm going to show modified head down. Another way to do this is with a pillow under your head and shoulders. Another way is to lift up your head, your shoulders, breathe in, and exhale out. Good. When you stretch out, look at your belly, and it'll help cue it to be belly in. 3, 2, 1. All right, hug those legs. Now, we're going to be getting on our belly. Let your belly down on the mat. And the very first, we'll just call it a sphinx, which is forearms. And just let this be an invitation to open up your back. The chest is open. Good, the shoulders are down. Yep, thank you. We'll get a water sip after this too, Karen. Good memory, good reminder. Now in Sphinx, your forearms are down, your hands, I like to flatten them out so you can feel the ground. Your shoulders are open. Your neck is in the easiest place it can be, which is in line with the rest of that arc of your back. Feel your belly lift. Now scan your glutes. I was just over contracting my glutes myself. And that's what my point is. It's easy to accidentally kind of have to review the cues, even me. Another cue that helps me, Karen, I think this one helped you too, is let your toes point towards each other. If you have a tendency towards gripping your booty, it's going to help to open up that SI. And then Michelle, you might just experiment. I'd say after work, yep, it does. It's just a little opening. It's so nice. So what we're doing is putting all those tricks together. And then let's go back into a child's pose. Yeah, that's good, Michelle. I'm glad it worked for you too. It's just an SI opener. It also will remind you not to death grip the glute. Now we're going to go back down and either do your Sphinx, or if you want to do your hands and then your elbows come off, you may like that higher intensity. Your elbows point down, they kind of spiral down. That generally means the pinky has a little bit more pressure in it than the thumb. You're breathing into your upper back and your upper rib cage. When you breathe, you don't lift the shoulders anymore. You don't have any extra tension. You're just allowing a full breath. Inhale. Nice job. And let's go back to a toe under child pose. And then you're going to spread out your hands and do down dog. Hold down dog and let your calves get the stretch. 10, 5, 4. Now you're going to lift your heels, articulate through your lower back with those abs, middle back, upper back, up dog. Now I'm going to do this slow, and if you need to, you can go to cat-cow. Now when you're in up dog, you tuck the chin, push up through your cervical, upper back, middle back, lower back, calves, lift, lower back, middle, upper. It's okay to go to cat-cow and then tuck. Upper back, lower, or sorry, middle, lower. And lift, articulate, breathe. Ready to go. Hi, Betty, come on in. We're doing one more of these, but if you want to warm up with a cat-cow, you're welcome to. Breathe in. And then we're gonna go to a child pose. This time I'm gonna put the arms out in front, but if you want them under your head, you can. All right, now you're gonna go belly down to, now Betty, we warmed up. We did Sphinx already, and then we did all hand position. So if you need to do Sphinx, you can. Girls, if you feel like you can do the swan again, do. I just know Betty hadn't had much of a warm up. Oh, I keep forgetting the water, don't I, Karen? Do this one and then we'll grab some water. 10. And Betty, that looks good. Your elbows, I think, can spiral towards the floor a little bit more. Yep, just like, yeah, just roll them under. Does that make sense? Externally rotate. Get ready. Neck is soft. You might even move your neck. Does it move freely? It should. That's just a little test. Now, lower into your child pose, and if you want to sit, grab it. I had forgotten to cue that earlier, so grab a sit. And then we're going to touch base with our plank. When you're ready, your forearm plank, push back through your legs and make sure your forearms are strong. I'm going to look good. I think that looks good, everybody. And Betty, you're ready to add on. Push through your toes and drop through your heels, she says. 10, 9, 8. And then turn sideways, and let's take an elbow down. Lift up to a side plank. 10, 9, 8. I like a flat hand too, like the nervous system likes it. Like even if you're going to bed, if you put your hand flat on the mattress and the sheet, that's good for the nervous system. Lower, go to the other side. So for example, this one, hand flat if you can. Go up. Now, make sure your hips are stacked, your belly pulls in. Good, Michelle. You guys are doing good. You're remembering all these different things. Like if you put your arm back, it's a stretch. Awesome, Michelle. I'm going to add that to side plank. And then lower. Now we're going to take a forearm plank, elbows down. When you're here, if you would like to add on, lift your hips like you're doing a dolphin, which is a down dog on the forearms. Go into plank. Lift your hips like you're doing a dolphin and plank. Lift and plank. Breathe in. Now try 3 more. You're going to feel your abs. Good. You're going to find your neck. Good. That looks really good. 2. And you notice I'm not moving fast. I'm trying to feel the places. We do good. And lower. And 1 more. All right. Child pose. Toes under if you want that toe stretch. And now go to side plank. I'm going to do 5 of these arm openers. So when you're in side plank, take this top arm and take it like you were doing earlier, Michelle, beyond midline, like way back. I had to move forward on my mat to make sure my arm had room, and then rotate. No, go arm way back, yeah. Exhale, rotate. Your torso can move here. Your hips are not, they're gonna stay still. And exhale, rotate. So I'm trying to exaggerate the movement. That's why I'm only doing 5, because I want it to be big. And for me, that means I have to slow down, big, and exhale, rotate. And then let your hip down. That was great. So you can see how 5 slow is meaningful. Arm down. And we're going to take a sip after this. So go up, stretch back, like beyond your midline. Exhale, rotate underneath you. Betty, not over your ear, behind your back, like towards your guitar. Yep. So it's a shoulder stretch. Go back behind your guitar. Ah, nice, Karen. Isn't it good? Isn't it nice to have shoulder flexibility? Breathe in. Now take it down, grab a sip. I'm gonna have you do a bridge with your 4 corners of your feet. Now start with your lower abs and go up. If you care to add on, interlace your fingers at the low back, walk them under, and it's gonna be like you've added a shoulder stretch. A shoulder stretch, and I just demonstrated poor form when I looked at the camera to look at you. In this pose, try not to turn your head. You can look up or you can shut your eyes, but try not to turn your neck. Try to just go by my verbal. If you care to lift up your heels, add that on for fun. Now lower your heels and try to lift up your toes, all your toes on your foot except for your heel. And now flatten into a 4 corner. Now lower down. Now take your left leg long and take your right knee over and take your right arm out and hold that rotation. Yep. Nice. Now go the other way and do a knee down twist. Let your arm help your knee stay down and let your other arm go out. Now take another inhale. And then exhale, you can just hug your hands to your shins or knees. Now just stir your knees. So what you're doing is taking a big circle with a light touch on your knee. You're not holding your knee hard, and then go the other way. And then we're going to take it to the side position, arm under your ear. Grab a sip if you want. With electrolytes. Arm like a pillow. Draw a top leg circle and do it as big as you can. Notice I've got my fingers right here because it helps me tell my abs to protect my back, meaning it's not letting my leg pull my low back in any more extension. Now, when you go 10 the other way, you could pull your toes towards your shin. Now, same leg, guys, we're going to point up and let it be flexible. Let it be an act of flexibility. So feel that. Now jaw soften, neck soften. Breathe in. Now this leg, catch it somehow, even if it's your Pilates ring or if it's your inner thigh or it's your hamstring, or just catch it somehow. Doesn't it feel so nice? This is all going to help the back too. This leg goes in front of. Lift up your bottom leg and draw really large circles with point, meaning point your toe. Now jaw soft, neck soft, shoulder soft. Flex your foot and go backwards. Now, can you point up, flex down? And I know I'm cueing the ankles a lot. I want us to have really healthy feet so that that balance is easier, so that transmission of energy is easier on our low back and our knees. When you're springy and elastic like a gazelle, it is, think about how that energy when you walk or hike would transfer to your knees caustically if you were like a tin soldier versus a springy animal. So we're keeping the feet, the elastic part of our foundation, healthy. Now, let's hit it to the other side. Grab a sip if you want. Now, we did a series. One thing you can do in your mind for neuroplasty is try to remember what we did. I'll cue it, but just try to think about before I say it what we did. So it's creating ways to help the brain. When you do choreography with exercise and memorize sequences, that's helpful for the brain. Breathe in, breathe in. I like to lift with the inhale and exhale as I lower. And anytime you coordinate breath with movement, you help restore that parasympathetic system. Now what we'll do is go backwards. So pull your toes back, all the toes, even the pinky toe. So now you're working your shin. That's the first muscle, tibialis anterior, that babies use when they're learning how to walk, and that people when they're older, if you see them stumbling and not walking well, that's the first one to go, the first one to come that helps with walk. So what we do in class, you notice every time we do something where we pull the toes back. Now we're going to try to go up just as high as you can. In other words, make it flexibility biased. And I don't even care if that means you go slower. Now you see what I've done with the foot. We're pointing and flexing. So it's thoughtful. I'm focused. Breathing. Neck is soft. And jaw is soft. Really reach. You see how it's getting higher on most of you guys. It's getting deeper, stretchier. Stretchier. Catch it. Somewhere, anywhere. Here, here, here. Even if you need a tool. That's a good one too. So Karen, that I used to call can opener. That's a great stretch too. Let's do it both. 10. I'll go back to the other leg, but if you want to take can opener, you bend your knee, and it's kind of like happy baby on your side. Now inhale, let this leg down in front, kind of like a 90-degree angle. Take your bottom leg and draw circles. Now even me on the first one, I accidentally tightened my shoulders. So now I'm going to soften them. The belly can help though. Now pull the toes back, and all the toes, even the pinky, it was trying not to help. So I'm just making sure all the toes are working. Now what you'll do is point up, flex down, point up, flex down. So I'm even just going slower to make sure I give that ankle a signal. I'm working that ankle, that shin, to be able to go up mountains, go up stairs, go up hills. Now let's go to the other leg and do that one called a can opener. We'll stretch and then we'll grab a sip. So hold this and just pull down. I just want to see even. It looks like this. Nice. Now we're going to grab a sip and do a little cat-cow. You'll notice I'm putting in a lot of articulation. You guys know I'm listening to the Peter Attia book, and the last 3 chapters have been all saying the remarkable things that we do already. So All right, so this one is one of his chapters, is articulation and stability. So how important it is to know how to use each part of the spine. Well, you guys have been doing it, so you're ahead of the game. So now you just think, okay, where do I run tight? And then can I give that part of my back more attention? So it might be lower back. It might be that you want more extension in your upper back. But think about each part. So it's not like you're just doing a cat and a cow. What you're doing is a wave of articulation through your back. So that's why it's okay to go slower, especially in the area that you're focused on. Now we're going to do a hip circle, so big hip circle. I like this too because you may not have gotten a muscle in the linear plane, the sagittal plane, but now you have free will to just find what needs attention. There's no wrong circle. Good, Betty. Now, if you care to add on more, curl your toes and lift your knees, and then you're in a hover position, and then you do cat-cow. If you do not care to add that on, or you feel like today I need more mobility, then do the cat-cow with your knees down. Lower for a moment, and you're going to come up for, can you go on your shins? Is that okay? And do a hand stretch. And if you can't, lift up on your shins. Does that make sense, guys? So if you can do this, do this. If you cannot, go to your shin. Drop both shoulders regardless of what you do. And then can you do this one? Now, let me tell you, if you can't, this is the remedy for now. You would take a yoga block or something. Hot dog. Now, palms together and go down. So one thing that I didn't know when I was listening to that book last night is that you'll see kids do this, but if you're sitting in a chair all day long, like how they put kids in school, even kids will lose this ability. So when you put us in 90-degree angles, it will do it. So you want to keep this in your system. Just like those men in New Guinea that fish and they're like 118, they're fishing like this. So you want to keep it in your system, even if it's on a yoga block, even if it's just for a second. That way we don't lose the ability. Perfect. Now we're going to come out of that and go to a hand and knee. Now you're like a table. Lift up all your toes, no toes, right arm, left leg. Now reach your right elbow to your left knee and keep going. I've got a little one who wants in. Are you wanting in? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then when you go back to hands and knees, check that you're stable, like your arms are strong, your shoulders are flat. That looks good, Karen. Now your other arm, your other leg, now you pull it under, but then you find neutral. When you reach out, you're not letting your low back sag. So lift your ribs a little bit, Michelle, when you reach your arms out. Right there, lift your ribs a little. Yep, there you go, that tiny bit, that's all you needed. Yep, that's all you needed. Now you're gonna feel that ab contraction more. Every time you're right there. Yep. Nice, guys. Now we're going to do right hand to left foot behind you. Now when you reach for your foot, don't torque your back. In other words, don't hurt yourself to get your foot. Does that make sense? Yeah, kind of do it neutrally, then lift up. I think you got into that one better, Karen. So hold. If you were to let go of your foot, it would kind of fly backwards. So you've got some pressure on your leg. Now take your other hand and your other knee. Now when you reach for your foot, don't torque your back. Like be mindful of getting into it. Keep breathing and keep lifting and keep breathing and keep lifting. Inhale. And then exhale, come back, forearm plank. And we're gonna do a tiny little hip rotation here. So go, and then you barely dip your left hip, and then you barely dip your right hip down. So you just barely move, barely, barely. And then rest. I am going to give you, does everybody have their foam roller today? I want to give you, lie on your back, sacrum, head. So lie on your back, sacrum, head. This is, I'm going to give us a few posture exercises. So lie on your back, take that. Now arms, we brought this up at the retreat, the arms, I want you to know that there's not a wrong way, but I do want you to know there's benefit to doing it more than one way. So one position is going to be kind of like a Y or a T with the palms facing up. The trick is you want to be able to relax your arms. So if your arms are off the floor when you do that and they shake and you really can't relax them, then that's not a good position for you. To go lower is a better position. But if you can do them up there, do it. Now, if your arms go numb when you're up there for like 30 seconds, then you can naturally just sort of have this, you lower it down. So I want you to know that, you know, there's usually 3-way pec stretches. They're all good. So you just like, now you can change it just a couple inches lower. That should feel a little good, good like an opening. Now one more lower, let's say, just find 3 places. So a lot of times when I'm doing this, I'll just do one because I'm trying to like at least get us to do one, and I switch up the stretches. But I want you to know, if you're on your own or you're with me sometimes, like you can change up the angles. Breathe in. Now you're gonna carefully, you can come off and notice how flat your back is. Don't get rid of your roller though. We're gonna put it on your upper back. So the next one is, isn't that nice? Yeah. Now your next one is upper back horizontal, and you might use a block under your head or something like that. Okay, now arms out like a T or Y. The roller is opposite that part of your back that's most likely to be rounded. Good. Open up the arms. Open up the arms. Now, do you feel any tension? Can you let it go? If you want your legs long, you can. If you want them bent, you can. If you want a neat trick, you can also do bound angle here. That's a nice one. Or feet a little wide, knees touch. That's an SI opener. So there can be so many places. That's a good one, Michelle. That looks good. Karen, you might do knees together, feet wider, so you have this SI opener. Your palms look great to me, guys. And Michelle, you're good. You may actually have 2 places that you can do. One is there, and then the roller like an inch lower towards your lower scapula is another one. So yeah, like that looks good to me too. The most round part of your upper back is where we're trying to get the foam roller in a passive posture stretch. Now breathe in fully without any tension. In other words, breathe in, but don't clench near your jaw or your clavicle. Breathe in fully. Now, you may have to use your hand to help do an ab crunch for your head, and then get your roller out of the way, guys, and notice how flat your back is. How flat is it now? Upper back. Oh. Now the next one is your psoas. Karen, I always think of you with this. And actually, Michelle, you had low back pain a couple months ago. This would be good for you. Put the foam roller at your sacral area, and then let your legs go long. But probably I'm gonna look at you guys for a minute. You're gonna put it where your glute meets your, yep. All right, Karen, that looks good. Michelle, that looks good. And Betty, that looks good. Stay there. Oops, stay there. Stay there, girl. We'll take a little inhale, and then on your exhale, slide your feet up. Gently lift your hips, so you're not really even trying that hard to engage. And then for a moment, either leave your feet there or flatten them out, and notice how much of your back is on the mat. That's your place. That's the place that you'd like to have. Breathe into that space. And then when you're ready, go belly down and let your hands be beside your hips. Palms face down. Breathe in, and then when you float up, there's no tension in your neck. You could lift your toes. Every inhale lifts you. We're building endurance on the back muscles. Lower for a moment, and if you can interlace, add that on. If not, just touch your hands on the low back. Get ready. Inhale, lift your torso. Lift your arms, lift your toes. Yep. I think you're good, Michelle. Just lift your head the tiniest bit. Just that tiny, and see if that's okay. Yep, 5. Now we're gonna switch which way our hands are. So if you interlace them the other way, now come up, inhale. Just let it be endurance. Breathe in. And relax. If you care to do this one, it's bend one knee, hand to foot. Try not to torque your back to reach your foot. Then the other, or not. Just, we're gonna do it twice, so it's okay either way. Lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then grab the other one, do that one, or do the second one a second time. This is number 2, or are you doing the together the second time? Now check your neck, it's very easy. No tension. And then recover so that you do a child, or walk over with your fingers to one side. That's a nice one. Some type of recovery that works for you. Breathe into that rib cage that you're stretching. You might even lift up that rib cage like you're a clamshell. Breathe in. Now inhale, walk over to the other side. Walk your fingers. Breathe into that rib cage. Clamshell. Could you get that water out a little bit from me? I just spilled some, yeah. We're gonna take another one called the rack. So when you have a seat, you put your legs, usually longer is better. Go up, back. Go inhale up and back. Now your elbows soften and you lift your heart. Make sure you do the elbow soft cue again. Breathe in. All right, take another inhale. And now, can you take bound angle here with feet soles together? And if not, let your belly sit up on, let your tush sit up on something. Relax your neck. Get that, is that okay? Hold there just a minute. Hold 10. 6, 5, 4, and 3, and 2. Now we are going to do a reverse plank, but if you prefer to do reverse table, you can. Another trick is you can just do another bound angle. Lift up your hips, Breathe in and open up your shoulders and chest at the same time. Yep, I'll show both. 5, 4, 3. Yep, nice. 2. Now let your legs go out like a big V. Now this is going to be open. We're doing a little bit wider saw than usual. So if it's too wide, come back to a smaller V. I'm going to move my roller. Go up. Now rotate. You may notice the upper back has an easier time rotating because we did those posture openers. Breathe in and exhale. Now, can the finger go a little further? I have to deliberately tuck my chin to make sure I'm not trying to crank my neck to look at my toes. So when you rotate, you may have to tuck your chin, and you'll notice you go a little deeper. Now, one hand per foot or whatever you can reach. So then tuck the chin and rest here. 10, I'm gonna look at you though. 9, good, Betty. Look at how flexible. 8. Take an inhale to come up, and let's say legs out in front. Breathe in, up and over, and now we've done clamshell. So you may notice it's not as tight. Go up first, I'm pulling your arm, and then over. Up, over. This is so good for the back. So we're gonna hold one side, and we're gonna hold it for 10, and it's okay if you wanna make little nuances. We're gonna go up, 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 act like I'm pulling your arm, over, 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 and little nuances. And then up. Nice job. Now we're gonna head back down to, actually grab a sip if you'd like, head back down to the belly, and we're gonna do one called breaststroke. And think about the scapula, the bones on the back moving. So a healthy scapula moves. We're not gonna keep it rigidly locked. So you have a little bit of a lift, and you circle your arms around, and the scapula move. Breathe in and lift up, but not by cranking the neck, by lifting up the back. Breathe, good. Breathe, breathe. One more, and then we're gonna do one called the swimming. Now with swimming, you can start, if you have any tension in your neck, put the hands more beside you and not up above. So right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg, right arm, left leg. Good. That's good. You can do it like you are, Michelle, a little faster if you guys want to. Once you have it, even all the limbs can be off the floor. Now rest for a moment, let your knees bend and sway them. One right, one left, or both right, both left, just whatever feels like a release to your back. Now we're gonna do one called dynamic swan. It's a full swan, so lift up your back and then let your hands help you. Now your elbows point down, your hands do help at the top. Then you start lowering, and when you're ready, your cheek or your forehead will rest, and you lift up your thighs. Now your thighs lower, and then you lift up your upper back, and then your hands help you. And then you lower, and then you lift up your legs. And then you lift up your torso. And you just keep doing this upper body, lower body thing at your own pace. A few more. Now one more hold of your swan.
Elbows are down. In other words, they're pointing towards the floor, which opens or rolls, externally rotates your humerus. Your neck is easy. And one way to, you notice I do this a lot, I just move my neck. It's a way I know, am I holding tension in my neck? I'll know right away. Blades are down, breath goes up to the chest and the upper back. There's a little lift with my abs. My glutes are helping, but they're not overly gripped. Inhale, exhale, come back. Now I want to get us a good hamstring stretch. So can you lie on your back and maybe use the foam roller again if you have it handy under your sacral area, I'll just say. I'm going to use I have a band I'm going to use, but you're welcome to use a Pilates ring. Lift it up, feel it, stretching. Now we're getting a twofer, another psoas opener and another hammy. Go ahead and move that leg off the midline if you want. And out. Try the other one. Relax your jaw. You might even try to separate your lips or relax your tongue. You can move that leg. It's so nice when you just take it a little bit out and then it feels so good. And then what you can do is just for a moment, put your legs on the wall, but you might find you want to put them on a sacral block or a foam roller and lift them up and enjoy the feeling of decompression in the low back and in the vessel relief, since the feet are now higher in your heart, and make contact with that peaceful place, that wellspring. Now, just for a moment, wiggle your fingers and your toes and take the body into a neutral position. So just take a moment to let your hands go to your heart and breathe in. And just notice how it feels to be peaceful or to feel like you're calm yet strong, balanced, stable. So just notice how that is to feel peaceful. And you can make an intention if this serves you. If not, you can make another one. Today I'm going to stay connected to that sense of peace and calm that's always inside me. I'm going to notice if I accidentally start to lower my vibration to other people's illness or a story, something going bad, I'm going to try to keep my vibration up. So there's an example of light, and I don't hurt myself as I care for others. So just take a moment to stay connected to that sense of peace. And so you're not lowering your vibration in a old story of how to help others. You're keeping your vibration high. You're high sensing, so as soon as you start to notice a wobble just a little bit, you keep yourself in that high vibration place and you shine as an example of wellness and peace. That's your best gift to anyone anyway. So whenever you're ready, come back into the room with so much appreciation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Bye. Thank you. Have a great day.